Hello, my name is Jill Rabinoff, and I would like to share with you what I got out of reading the synopsis called Living Our Values in the World from Widening the Circle of Concern. There were some quotes that I thought were really important in the synopsis. The first one being, "The work of becoming more equitable, inclusive, and diverse within our congregation is justice work. If we cannot do this well, we cannot be effective as justice partners." The second one, "If we fail to address our own injustices, we are not only hypocritical, but we are probably working out of an outdated paternalistic model of helping others, rather than acting out of the recognition that our lives are interdependent with those of our neighbors." And the third quote, "Our internal work as people of faith is to become more inclusive, equitable, and diverse, while our external work is to be accountable to those most affected by injustice. For us to be good, accountable partners, we must do both." And the synopsis goes quite a bit into this concept of accountable partners, using the topic of climate change to explain that. Issues around climate change are issues of resource distribution, which tend to disproportionately affect Black people, Indigenous people, and people of color. We need to pay attention to the knowledge of those impacted the most strongly by climate change and other justice issues. For example, it is important to listen to Indigenous cultures that not only have developed effective means of resilience by resisting oppression and genocide, but tend to retain knowledge of how to coexist with ecosystems, whereas white cultures tend to have divorced themselves from that knowledge. In doing the work of fixing the impact of inequitable distribution of resources, which has been brought to light even more by the effects of climate change, this long-term justice work should not be based on a charitable model that assumes that people of privilege have more knowledge of what is needed than those who have been held back from social and economic opportunities because of the systemic non-playing level playing field that is our society. Several recommendations are made for action, and it is stated that any kind of action needs to be examined on 4 levels: personal, interpersonal, institutional, and cultural. The takeaways are, number 1, the foundation for our justice work is based on our first principle, respecting the worth and dignity of all. That principle, along with the idea that we are bound together, means that we must center our justice work on accountable partnerships. Number 2, the lens of diversity, equity, and inclusion should be applied to all areas of justice work, including climate change. Number 3, we can only have accountable partnerships if we educate ourselves in order to gain awareness to avoid microaggressions, tokenizing, and other forms of modern racism. 4, rather than asking individual members of a particular racial or ethnic group to be our accountability partners in doing justice work, we should partner with organizations. And the last one, number 5, anti-oppression work is a necessary foundation for justice work.